This podcast is brought to you by Federal Ammunition. What's your premium moment? Hunters, farmers, sporting shooters, it's time to set your sights. It's time to unload on the podcast made for Aussie shooters with Brad.
For a lesser man, this would be a challenge.
Matt.
Quite frankly, I'm going to win this.
And Keith.
I am pretty much the rabbit-proof fence.
It's the NIOA Unloaded Podcast.
Happy New Year and welcome to the NIOA Unloaded Podcast. It's 2025. With us, as always, would you please, Digital Josh, turn them loose because we introduce Mr. Keith Grundy. You know, I don't know where Josh gets those, but anyway. One thing I can be sure, it's not going to be the same reaction when I introduce Mr. Brad Johnson.
Crickets.
Yeah. Nothing. I tell you what. Look, guys, I thought we might do is the holiday special. So how was your Christmas, Brad?
Excellent, mate.
You had a good one?
I did. I got away for a week. Did a bit of fishing, bit of camping.
Yeah, what about you, Keithy? What'd you get up to, mate?
Yeah, good. Actually sounds a lot like Brad's.
Yeah.
Fishing, camping, but I did a fair bit of eating and drinking.
Oh,
yeah.
geez. Well, listen, what I thought we might do, fellas, is we might recap a bit of 2024. 2024 was an absolutely huge year. And just at the end of it, before we went on holidays, we went up to the Northern Territory. We brought Keithy with us, but people thought we were just having a holiday going hunting magpie geese. But yeah.
It was far from a holiday.
There we go.
It was some of the hardest, work I've ever done.
Yeah, no, it was tough. And sure, we got a fair bit of magpie geese shooting in, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we enjoy it. All right, because there's a lot of work and stuff that we're doing. But Keith, you were pretty impressed by the amount of work Brad and I got up to up there.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I was thoroughly impressed. I did partake in some of that work, mind you. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But Brad,
only some of it though, Keith.
Yeah.
Yes, you had a few extra days off that we did.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But Brad, one thing that we did, before we get onto the magpie geese shooting, one of the things that we did actually get to do is we got to visit a couple of the shops up there.
We did. Yeah, no, we visited some key dealers up there.
Yeah.
Just to see, the lay of the land, how the market's treating Northern Territory. It was a good indication of how 2024 went.
And it was always great to catch up with those guys and the stores, and it's great to see that they're doing well as well.
Yeah, no, some tough economic times, but we've had some good weather and some good seasons in Australia, so that's sort of offsetting some of the economic pressures everyone's facing. But yeah, generally it's been a pretty good year.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too that those shops were talking about was actually how impressive the geese season was.
Yeah, it's been a cracking season up there this year. A lot of birds, yeah.
And because I was saying that they were a little bit late coming over from Kakadu, but just as we sort of got up there, wasn't it, Keithy?
Oh, coming in big numbers.
Coming in very big numbers. So, mate, just for the people out there, just describe your experience. You've been there. We've done this before, but how did you find the birds this year?
Yeah, well, it was different. I mean, we still hunted the mangoes again this year, which was. I haven't done one of the public swamps up there, but they say the numbers this year were incredible on the public land as well. But yeah, I'd never seen birds like that. It was bloody good. It was good hunting. Got our bags every day, and it was hot. So at least you were out of the fields by sort of 9:30, and you got your bag, and you're good to go home and clean the birds.
So take us through the sort of the mornings, Brad, because obviously it is stinking hot up there. What time are we getting up? What time are we doing?
Yeah, we rolled out of bed at 4 a.m. Out, quick half an hour drive out to where we were hunting, set up some decoys, positioned ourselves well, had everything ready. One thing, there were a lot of birds, but there were a lot of high birds this year.
They were.
They were. They tested
that's
people
what,
with the ability like of me. I struggled with the field.
Well, that's what people are saying. You know, obviously that aren't hitting them. They're a little bit too high.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tricky.
And I'll stick by that.
It's tricky when Matt starts shooting them 150 metres away.
Exactly. Yeah, or shooting over the top of you. Yeah.
I was trying to bring one down on you to hopefully break your nose or something like that. But yeah, obviously, look, we get up very early. Look, a big shout out to the team out there, Bart Irwin. From Northern Territory Field and Game. He is a cracker bloke.
What a gentleman.
Hey, yeah. He's a genuine guy. And of course, Daryl took us out and set up in the mango fields where we've been there before. the birds were very high. We were trying to call them in.
Yes. Now, when we lost Bart and the callers, they disappeared into other parts of the mango farm.
Yeah.
You decided to take that role on yourself.
I did.
You want to let everybody know what it sounded like?
Yeah.
Go, Fleet.
For sure. But
Come
listen, I just the thing is when I do it, we could actually have magpie geese turn up here in the studio.
I doubt it. But anyway, go. Keith, what is that?
I don't know what is that. But it worked in our favour because it seemed to part the birds.
So, mate, take us through the magpie geese. Keithy, we shot a fair few.
We did, mate. We breasted a lot of birds.
Yep.
We cryovac that and brought it home with us so we can do a bit of cooking back at home.
Yep. And Brad, I believe you got a whole stack for Keithy down on the phones downstairs.
Downstairs, going to make some salami up his.
There you go.
Can't wait until it's all cured.
Because that's the thing. It's an extremely versatile meat. Of course, they call it the ribeye of the sky, the magpie goose. It's a really sort of dark red meat, isn't it?
Very tasty.
It is really, really good. And of course, I'm hanging out to see what Keithy makes with it.
You said you're going to get me.
Well, he said he was going to give you. So, Keithy, take us through, mate. We took the Bushmeisters up there.
Yeah, mate. Same guns we ran last trip, BAX 12s, Ripper guns. Yeah, they work really, really well. We did, we ran a couple of different shells. We ran some Earlies and we ran some Federal Steel. They didn't miss a beat. The guns were great. Mm-hmm. They point really good, that 28-inch barrel. They're not too heavy, lugging it around in that heat. Most of the time you're sitting down, but still the weight of the gun definitely takes its toll on you. Ripper gun. Love the thing.
And Brad, the ammo?
Yeah, look, we use two types of ammo, as Keith said, the Earlies and the Federals. I slightly lean towards the Federals. I didn't mind the extra punch because they are those super speed. They were travelling at 1,500 feet per second, so they're a quick shell. But both performed admirably. They really did.
And the other thing too is obviously up on a mango field, mango plantation, we're shooting steel.
Correct.
Yeah. So no lead is allowed.
No lead.
Which is
sustainable hunting.
There you go. And of course, the magpie geese were in absolute flocks. There was just they just kept coming, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They did. There was at one stage there the sky was black with them. So it was certainly it's an impressive sight. If you haven't done it, by all means, look at getting up there next year. Get your goose license. Everyone can apply online for one. There's plenty of public land available. If you like bird shooting, by all means. But all the swamps are accessible.
Yep,
so
correct.
all the public land's accessible. And it's not far out of Darwin either.
No.
You know, you're sort of 15 minutes out of Darwin CBD, you can get onto one.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And another thing too, which I thought we didn't have these the last time we were there, Keithy, but the Federal shell bags, they were handy.
Well, it just makes it clean. You find yourself running around at the end of the day, picking up all your empties. At least you can keep an eye on it, pop them in your shell bag. You've got your live rounds there, you got your empties there. I reckon it just kept it a lot cleaner for us.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be digging around through packets of ammo trying to load your gun when the heat's on. So, it worked out good.
And Brad, we had a couple of the Allen bags there for the Bushmeisters.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
Allen bags?
Yeah, we brought them up.
They're Federal bags, mate.
Were they Federal
They were
bags?
Federal bags.
Oh, jeez.
Hang on. Matthew's in marketing and not in sales.
Well, hang on, let me just...
Apologies to Federal and apologies to Allen there, but anyway.
The Federal shot bag, shell bags that we had.
Yeah, and they were Federal gun bags. So we had the trifold case, which is fantastic for travelling with.
Yeah, right.
And the waterfowl camoed shotgun slips from Federal.
And the other thing that we brought up, which we tested out on the birds, was the Schrade knife.
Yeah, the Schrade and Rage. Yeah, with the 3-inch replaceable blades.
They're replaceable blades.
Yeah,
sharp.
Yeah, and very versatile, flexible. Allowed you to get into areas. It was really good.
Great for just taking out the breasts of those birds. Really, really good. But look, that was just towards the end of 2024, and obviously, as I said, 2024 is a big year. But guys, it's always just great to get out, isn't it? And just actually do what we do because we're in the industry and we enjoy the lifestyle, isn't it?
Man of the people.
Tell us a little bit about the lifestyle up in the territory, Brad.
Oh, mate. Well, where do I go? There's probably plenty I can say, but probably plenty I can't. We had a great time. Look, the territory's fantastic, hot.
Yeah.
People are great.
People are great. People are really genuine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really top place if you want to arm wrestle someone.
Or a crocodile. Hey, I know we can't. I don't know. I might have to get permission to show these, but we can't talk about this.
No, I probably wouldn't.
We can't talk about that.
No, I wouldn't.
Well, Brad rode a crocodile. I don't think we can show. I don't think we can show any photos of that, but that's okay. Just take our word for it. It was certainly a sight to behold. But mate, hasn't 2024 just been an absolute huge year for us at NIOA?
Massive year. From January when we did our federal tour, RCBS tour, ice fishing.
Yes. Visiting federal, that was a great tour, wasn't it? Because we got to see some incredible, just the quality around the processes and everything that they do in creating federal ammunition. Yeah,
their manufacturing processes are second to none. It's really state of the art, really up to date machinery. Their attention to quality and detail is phenomenal. And when you see the ammunition through each stage as it's made, you can understand. To be fair, it's a miracle they sell it that cheap. When you look at the process it goes through to make ammunition, it's certainly an eye opener.
One thing that really impressed me when I was there, and you talked about that manufacturing quality at every step, but it goes up a notch when you go to the federal premium part,
custom shop,
and the custom shop where they want, you can actually get your very own bespoke loads made.
Everything's hand loaded in there,
unbelievable,
to the specifications that you can provide. Those guys really. I'm looking for another word, but those guys are really. It'll come to me.
Listen, if anyone's listening to this and know what the word that Brad's looking for is, please email us at marketing@nia.com.au.
Thank you.
But Brad, we moved from federal, where we also did a bit of ice fishing with Ryan Krantz.
Well, I caught plenty of fish, man. I don't know about you.
Okay, we're going to move on.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to the RCBS factory tour.
That was great.
You enjoyed that?
Yep.
And we got to see all the processes there and building all the RCBS dies and presses. Mm-hmm. It was really, really cool. Mm-hmm. And it was just great to catch up there. And then June of 2024, I got to head out to the Barrett factory.
There you go.
And spent a couple of weeks there at the Barrett factory. But mate, just some incredible firearms at Barrett. Look, guys, one of the things that I have noticed is we've had some great special guests in 2024 come over. And we're going to talk about them a little bit later on in the podcast. But what we would do is every time we got a special guest in, we'd take them to the range for the
60-second challenge.
The 60-second challenge. But there were 3 guys that I've realised haven't actually done the 60-second challenge yet. Any idea who that could be, Keithy?
Probably better off not involving them.
So myself, Brad and Keith have not done the NIOA 60-second challenge in the range. So, guys, I think there's no time like the present to go down the range and see how we go. Well, here we are, gentlemen. It's our turn for the NIOA 60-second challenge in the range. Brad, what are we shooting with again?
We are shooting the Springfield 2020 rimfire with the Loopold 3 to 9x40 rimfire scope. Got perfect parallax for what the distance we're about to shoot at.
Yep, and Keithy, what's the ammunition?
We're running a Federal Premium high velocity match. It's a good bullet.
Yep, and great. And Brad, you're going first. Let's go.
What? Righto, I'm feeling confident, Jen. I'm feeling confident.
Okay, that's great.
If my glasses don't fog up, I think I'm right.
All right, hit start and away you go. Go.
Hang on, I've got to put my earmuffs down.
That's a 10-second penalty.
Okay,
go. Five seconds. $12 seconds. $20 seconds.
Taking his time.
25 seconds. 30 seconds. 36. 42. 47. 51.
55. Time. He's done.
Cannot see anything.
Well done. Can't see anything.
Can't see anything.
What'd you fog up?
I can't see anything out of there, but that's all right.
Folks, you've heard the excuses here first.
We could have done this in winter.
Alrighty. Keith, time for the 60-second challenge. Go. Five seconds. 9 seconds.
Oh, good.
12 seconds. 16 seconds. 22 seconds. 25 seconds. 28 seconds. 31 seconds. 34 seconds.
Good shoot.
We're done.
There it go. Do I get extra points for getting in?
Mate, that's unbelievable.
In a bit faster?
Mate, unbelievable. Righto. You want to count me down, Keithy?
Yes, mate. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Five seconds. 11 seconds.
Good shooting, man.
18 seconds. 23. 30 seconds. 35.
You're in trouble.
Uh-oh. 41.
Holy.
47. 52 seconds.
You are excited.
57 seconds. That's it. Empty rifle.
Well done.
Oh, clear.
Have a look at that.
Oh, really? Oh! I thought it was only Goose that you were all right.
Well, I'll go down and see how we win, eh?
Oh, not bad.
Well, I don't know about you and me, mate, but I'm feeling pretty good about this. But let's start with our first shooter, Brad.
Only fair.
Now, listen, it's probably worth saying straight off the bat, Brad's glasses fogged up, apparently.
Correct.
So might have put him off his game a bit. Right, Keith, what do we got here, mate?
Righto, starting off with Brad's and a couple of flyers. Now, I think we're chasing Toby Price being our number
Toby
one
Price is
shooter.
number one, yeah.
64.7 mil.
Correct.
I reckon I might have him.
Oh. That's. Sorry, Tobes. I just want to check off.
Yeah, check off that one there.
Because these other holes are.
Here we go.
This is actually a little bit further out.
Correct.
Where?
This
one
this
there,
one
that one
here,
there.
that's a little further than
Correct.
that one.
Correct.
I think I'm being stooged here.
No, you're not. Have a look.
That's true.
64.84.
feel having Toby's best mate scoring isn't helping
It's not.
64.84. No, I witnessed it. That was perfect.
Oh, you just say anything.
Righto, Keithy.
We're on to me.
Righto, well, let's watch this one closely because there was a couple of good, mate, you got the best group.
That's a nice group.
It's a beautiful group.
There's a flyer there that's really screwed the pooch. 41.59.
Where is that going to put you on the leaderboard, mate?
Jeez, well, I don't
Obviously
know.
to the front.
Did your glasses fog up, Keith?
No, they didn't. No.
Well, here's mine. I wonder how I'm going to go.
Oh, no, you're gone.
Pretty tidy. It's that thing.
It's that stinking little flyer there.
brought you undone. Oh, it has too, Matt.
Oh.
You're 47.54. Still in the 40s. That's nice.
Now, the thing I like about this is that I didn't have to beat you. I just had to beat you.
Keithy, mate, what can I say? Unbelievable.
It was to be expected, wasn't it, mate?
Well, you know, Brad was talking himself up a fair bit.
I was confident, to be fair. Shotgunning's not my strong suit, but, rifle, I'm normally at the top of the tree with the rifle. But anyway,
Okay.
kudos to you, Keithy.
Yep.
No, mate. It's a good little setup, that Springfield rimfire. I love it.
It is. And I'll tell you what, it was nice to come in second.
Yeah.
It was really good to come in second. Brad, that must hurt.
No comment.
No comment. Well, mate, maybe if you take a little bit more time and not get too flustered, you might have shot a little bit better. But anyway, that's the 60-second challenge. We'll get at the leaderboard. Digital Josh, put that leaderboard up. Keithy, nice to see you in there. That's great. And it's nice to just be above Brad there in second. You know, I might even put that on my business card. Yeah. And in fact, you might be able to sort of, you know, you could call me that now, you know.
What, not the arm wrestling champion of Darwin? Okay.
Listen, we're going to cut that bit out.
I think it should stay.
No, we're not
Up comes the photo.
No, we're not putting any photos up. All right. And anyway, she was stronger than she looked.
Those schoolies pack a fair punch. Yeah.
Well, they breed them tougher up in Darwin.
They do.
So, you know,
100%,
anyway.
100%.
But listen, guys, over 2024, we've actually had some really special guests. But a couple of highlights. We had Keith's mate, Toby Price, Dakar, two-time Dakar.
And he's back over there now.
He's back over there now. Mate, Toby Price, all the best, 2025.
Good luck, mate.
Mate, he's got himself a brand new sponsor.
Oh, yeah. Got a hell of a sponsor. Got a hell of a co-driver. I think, he should shape up pretty damn well. That's a fast car that he's driving.
But listen, we're going to just go to now a few snippets of the Toby Price podcast. We know that you've had a fair few accidents in your time. In fact, how many bones have you broken?
A bit of a shame to say, but yeah, I'm at 30 broken bones.
There we go, 30 broken bones. And could I just say, in defence of doctors, they do come in handy.
They do. They definitely do.
But I guess nothing was probably more show-stopping than when you actually really had a serious accident and you broke your neck.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that was the lead up before even Dakar really kind of kicked off on my schedules. It was 2013. This was a time that I was good friends with Kurt, getting everything underway. I'd actually signed a contract with the factory in America and was planning to do the 250, 500 and the 1000 with the team there. About the week before we went to head down and start pre-running, there was a local hare and hound event held out at Palm Springs in California. And yeah, don't recall the crash. Don't remember what happened. All I remember was a hard thud and a hit. And then I basically started to come around in hospital in Palm Springs and started to piece things together. And my neck was just super sore and just felt like I couldn't hold my head up properly. I was laying down in a bed, but it just felt like I couldn't do nothing with my head, and found out, I broke C6, 7 and T1 in my neck. So I broke 3 vertebrae. And basically was running on a very thin hairline of putting myself in a wheelchair, which was a bit of a nerve-wracking time. So it was got a halo screwed onto my head and bolted to my head, and actually couldn't have the surgery in America. I had to take a flight home back to Australia, just normal Qantas commercial airline. Flew back in a business class seat and landed Anzac morning of 2013, and then caught a taxi to the hospital. And then about 3 hours later, I was on an operating table getting 8 screws and 3 rods put into my neck, and my head screwed on literally. So
wow,
yeah, pretty wild story, and very, very close to that dream of racing motorcycles for a job. Nearly came pretty short and pretty quick. When I was in America, and I couldn't work out getting the surgery done there because the insurance packed their bags pretty quickly and took off, and found a little clause in that nice little 325 pages they send you through and in the fine print.
Good on you, insurance.
Good insurance. So they did the bolt, and it was going to be about $500,000 to have the surgery done in America,
US.
in the US.
Good grief.
But once I got back here, doctor here in Brisbane, Paul Lucina, he basically saw me. He said, "Yep, no worries. We'll get you fixed. What's your plans and what do you want to do?" I said, "Well, I want to keep racing motorcycles." He said, "Yep, no worries. We'll get you fixed well enough to start doing all that again." And basically the whole mindset then kind of shifted a lot. It was like I say, that 14-hour flight home was doom and gloom, and life's done and it's finished. Even though yes, I'm still lucky to be walking, but I'm not going to do something I love to do. And he changed the mindset a lot. And as I mean, it's pretty powerful tool, the mind. It can really make or break an injury and what's something going on. If you're very negative towards it all, you're going to have a rough time. But if you keep your mindset strong, everything's going to be okay. You're going to fix it. You'll do everything you can to fix it. It's it can definitely help the process a little bit. And I think it was about 11 months later, threw a leg over a motorcycle again. And for sure, the mentality side had to kick back in there again. It was a tough time because you were just like, didn't know what the body then is capable of doing, whether if I go into a corner and I just lose the front and I fall over, is that going to be the day that it calls it quits? And yeah, for us there, then that was the hardest thing. And what then kind of happened was that I had that fall, came into a corner and just washed his front out and fell over and rolled around and was like, grabbed my legs and everything would move and I could feel everything. And I'm like, okay, well, it can take that type of abuse. All right, what's the next kind of step? And then handled that. And then I was like, all right, sweet. Well, now I can pull 6th gear and wide open. And
I'm back.
If it's going to work, it's going to work. So it was, it was definitely baby steps of it all happening. And I came back and done the first round of the Enduro Championships in 2014. Won the first round, and then wasn't too long. I got back into my glory days. I was happy as Larry. And day 2, clobbered a tree, super flat out and super hard. And came through that one all good, busted my ribs and everything, but hey, my neck was still good and I was still on my feet. So I tested her out and wrapped it around the tree and happy days. So then it was back to normal then. It was like, full gas.
What do you think? He is a cracking fella, isn't he?
Oh, mate, really good. Real good down to earth, genuine bloke. Yeah.
Mate, I still can't get over what he's been through in terms of, the accidents that he's had, recovering from that broken neck, but just there's just like no fear, is there?
They're wired differently, those blokes.
Yeah, definitely programmed different to the average human.
And I'll tell you what, another person that we had on who was just as impressive was Mark Donaldson VC. And we're going to cut through to a couple of clips right now.
Yeah, I remember seeing the car in front get hit by rockets and 2 guys got blown out of the back as I saw it. One was an Australian guy who had he was an engineer, had an EOD guy, and he had a search dog with him, or an explosive dog. That dog unfortunately took off into the valley. Yeah. Ran away from the explosions, as you'd imagine. And the other guy was the Afghan interpreter, laying face down. The car continued to drive off. Where we were was kind of offset from that position. And I just remember seeing him lying out there, mate, getting shot at, sort of in the middle of nowhere. And said to my team, 2IC at the time at the back of the vehicle, I'm I'm going to go out there and get him. He kind of didn't agree with me on my idea. But by the time I'd sort of, processed that, I was sort of moving anyway. By that stage, I'd already taken off. So just remember seeing him lying there, mate, getting shot at, thinking, what a horrible place to be. Got out to him, the Afghan guy, started to drag him through the dirt. Wasn't really working out for me. Pretty tired by that stage too, and just sort of got him to his feet, mate. He was kind of unconscious when I got to him, pretty much. By the time I got him up, he was starting to become conscious. He was trying to grab at his face. He had some reasonable wounds on his face. I remember a lot of blood on there, and just started to kind of half carry, half drag him. Yep. Just telling him to keep going, keep moving, and just remember looking at the vehicle and watching it starting to drive off on us, and just thought, well, that was a good idea. Now what? Jeez. It was a conscious decision to go and do it. But just thought, well, the best place I can get him is back to that car, and just gave it a real nudge, mate, and got him back there eventually. Trying to wrap a bandage around his head at the same time as putting him into the back of the car through the doors, like the back doors, whilst it's moving, right? And this part I remember really distinctly because I was just tired. I remember being really tired, leaning against the car just to keep myself upright whilst I'm pushing him along and sort of half carrying him, and eventually got the doors open after giving it a couple of goes on both sides. By then, the cars were really starting to take off because they got back onto the road and had a bit of momentum. As I come around to the rear of the car to try and get on the back, I saw my mate who was there. It was his third time outside the wire. Yeah. Somewhere in between that point, he'd been shot. Like between that period, he had blood coming down his face. I was like, "What happened to you?" And he said, "Oh, I've been shot." And I sort of said, "Yeah, no." Shot through his head, mate, and no helmet. We didn't have helmets on, so you imagine like through and through on his hat, clipped his skull. Looked super lucky. probably one of the luckiest guys I've seen.
I think was that the photo in the book?
Yeah, the greys on the head.
Man, it's more than a graze, Brad. I can tell you that. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So he was still fighting, right? And that's I looked at that and we just went, like, how awesome and inspirational is that? That's the kind of level of soldier you get in the Australian Army. Yeah, we eventually got on the back of the car. So I was kind of like, oh, far out. Like, what else is going to go wrong here? So we just laid down on top of the guys. We're kind of above the armor of the back of the vehicles, and we just decided to fight from that point. And I remember my mate was lying face down, like laying down, shooting. You imagine his gun was kind of underneath him almost.
Yep.
I was laying on my back trying to shoot across him, across the back of him, because most of the fire by that stage was only coming from one direction at that point as we were moving along. And I remember him starting to yell out like, my back, right? He's like, my back, I think I've been shot. And I remember looking down and his shirt had ridden up because he was laying face down. And as I was shooting across the back of him, like on his lower back, where my suppressor was, because I'd put so many rounds through the gun, it had got so damn hot that it was just cooking his skin. Oh no! It was just cooking his back, and those suppressors we had at the time, they're quite like a distinctive pattern. They're quite like dimpled, or almost like a golf ball dimple.
Branded it.
Yeah, and I remember looking down and I was like, "No, you haven't been shot, mate. You're all right. Don't worry about it." He's like, "What is it?" I said, "Oh, don't worry about it. We'll talk about it later." But you could see the dimples on his back where it had burnt. But we laugh about it now. But yeah, we eventually got back to the base, mate. I think it was roughly sort of 3 to 4 kilometres long from first shots to last shots.
Wow.
That we fought across, and about 3.5 hours. I would say 3 to 3.5 hours. So
another impressive guy, eh?
I could have sat there and listened to that over and over and over again. It was an incredible story.
We got a lot of great feedback from that interview with Mark Donaldson.
He is an exceptional human being.
Now, Keithy, you weren't in on that podcast, but mate, you've had to listen to it.
I've had to listen several times, and they're pretty confronting stories.
Oh, yeah.
I really, really enjoyed that podcast. I thought it was awesome to hear what those guys go through, in the heat of battle, and pretty full-on stuff.
Mate, it was really, really impressive. So, a couple of really standout guys, but even for 2025, I've been working on getting us a few more people.
Ooh, any hints?
Yep. I'm going to give you a hint. I can't say too much, but he's an Australian cricketer. But I'm hoping...
Current player?
No, not current.
Ooh.
So there you go, fellas. I mean, that was sort of 2024 wrapped up. Brad, any thoughts?
Look, it was a fantastic year. Busy. That's probably the busiest year I've experienced in a long, long time.
Well, NIOA's done a lot in that 20.
Haven't we done something in the last 12 months?
Something that you may not know is, we launched an office in New Zealand.
Correct, yes. So we've and just relocated down to Christchurch as well. So that's certainly taken up some time, but I'm looking forward to the future there and how we can progress. Yeah, it should be great.
And how did your 2024 go, Keithy?
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yep. We took on a lot this year. We knocked it all out of the park. So, NIOA is a hell of a team when it comes together. And I think what we've achieved in 2024 has been, it should be highly regarded for sure. We've done really well.
I've been told by the boss to strap in because 2025, apparently, Brad, you weren't working hard enough. So 2025 is going to be an even busier year. We're going to head over to SHOT Show soon.
SHOT Show in January, for a quick week.
So listen, we hope you will join us all for our next lot of adventures in 2025 on the NIOA Unloaded Podcast.